Hey, you know what? You know that I have that little shack in Okoboji?
Yeah.
And I drive by on Highway 9, this community all the time. I'm very proud of them. Of course, my son's a Morningside Mustang. They've sent quite a few players down there from Armstrong-Ringsted, and he's the head football coach. Robert Zotz, the 8-player championship game he'll be playing in. How are you, Coach?
Oh, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on your show.
Got any snow up there yet?
Well, not yet, but from what I hear, we're going to get a shot here. It's going to be our first snow, and I'm glad we don't have a whole lot of practice left outside in it.
I'm sure you are.
Well, Coach, as you get ready to play in the championship game next Friday morning, now let's talk about, it's a long season, and there's nobody is what you call healthy. How are the kids, though, as far as the shape coming into this championship game?
Well, you know what? We don't have any major injuries, but I tell you what, we've really faced some physical teams on this playoff run, and like I said, no major injuries, but we've seen our fair share of bruising running backs, and Fremont Mills had a heck of a great running game and great running back, and we're just we're healing up, but I think we'll be ready to go by Friday.
Coach, the statement "survive in advance" couldn't be more true for your Mustangs this year because, just to get here, you've had a couple of wild finishes against the district rival in Grettinger-Terrell to get to the Unidome, and then against Fremont Mills, what looked like a comfortable game in the first half turned out to a real tough come-from-behind victory for your team.
I know, the guys around here are starting to get a name for themselves. They're calling them the heart attack kids because they're putting a lot of stress on the fans and the coaches, but that's what it's about. You start, the deeper you get in the playoffs, it's not supposed to be easy, and we face some real quality teams so far, and Lenox is another quality team that we're going to face too, and it happens. Like I said, we played against Grettinger-Terrell and Fremont Mills. They both had very good running backs and a great running game, and when you've got quality players like that, the comebacks can happen.
Hey, Coach, for our audience listening across the state, we've got a television audience down here in the capital that don't understand the 8-player. And what really impresses me, I had one of your former players, Jake Peterson, sitting on my deck this summer talking about the tradition you've built over there. And how do you get the community and the numbers? because you're such a small community. You're building a great football, history and tradition up there. How have you got that accomplished? Have you got the youth to buy in, and of course all the rural kids?
When I came here 8 years ago, there was a lot of love for football in this community. I didn't bring this on myself. This town has always loved the sport, and this has always been the sport that they really rallied behind a lot. And so when I came here, I just try to put my little swing on it, and I've also got some great coaches. I got a great coaching staff. I got one of the best coaching staffs in the state of Iowa. They make me look better than I am, and the kids rally around it. Just all the little things that you got to do. We do a lot of stuff in the summer. Team building things, and the community just is 100% behind our program, and they do great things to help us out. Pasta feeds, just all these different things that just take a lot of hours, a lot of time, and they do it for our kids. And it's almost like our school. It's just a thing to do. You go out for football, and the entire school is bought into it. And it just makes my job so much easier.
I know one thing, Tony and Senny, when they play in the Dome, that entire town, all the communities in your area are empty because everybody's in Cedar Falls.
Yeah, it's kind of a running joke around here that if you wanted to be a thief, come to Armstrong-Ringsted on the Dome days. And it wouldn't be too. You could clean house around here. It is. You're right. There's nobody in the streets, and everyone's there rooting on great fans and rooting on the kids. And I tell you what, that was a very loud game that we played in that semifinal game.
We're talking to Robert Zotz. He's the head coach of the Armstrong-Ringsted Mustangs. They get set to play in the 8-player championships next Friday morning against a friendly foe. They know each other very well because it's the third straight season that these two teams have met in the state title game. Lenox against Armstrong-Ringsted. Lenox won the title 2 years ago, and Armstrong-Ringsted got the title last year. And Coach, this is, I want to go back to the Fremont Mills game because, as I said, you jumped out to that 24-0 lead, only to watch Fremont Mills grab the lead at 34-31, and then you come back and win at 45-34 in the end. How much is that playoff experience? And I know all these kids didn't play on those teams, but they watched these teams, were part of it maybe from the background. How much did that playoff experience come into play? Because here's a Fremont Mills team that hadn't really played in any meaningful games for their history.
Well, I think the kids, you kind of nailed it on the head there. I mean, some of these kids were on that team, actually were on the field. Some were watching on the sidelines. Due to injuries in that championship game, there was actually quite a few kids that, kind of stepped up and played in that game, and they hadn't really been playing on varsity all year. But I guess with the experience, I mean, the kids grasp it, but I think also, your coaching staff also gets, used to the situations like that. They know how to handle it. They know how to, because the kids, they look at the coaches, and if the coaches are starting to break or they look worried, then, they get worried. And I think, my coach and my staff here, they do a great job of keeping it under control, realizing that there's a sense of urgency that needs to be done, especially when Fremont Mills is making a run that they had, which was a fantastic, run on us. But we kept it together. The kids rallied, and we needed a big play, and we finally got one, and that got us off to the right finish.
It's kind of nice also. I know you have a nice mixture of underclassmen, but the senior leadership, starting with Spencer Kloss and Bryson Rizak, when you have those two kids on each side of the football for you, with that senior leadership has to help an awful lot.
Well, the offense funnels through our quarterback. We have a shotgun offense, so that kid's going to touch the ball every time, whether he's handing it off, whether he's throwing, whether he's running itself. So, I mean, he's truly, the offense runs through our quarterback, and he does a great job, and he is just a class-act kid. He's a good kid. And, we wouldn't be here without him, and we wouldn't be here without some of those other kids you were saying, too. That Bryson Rizak plays a great job, as a tight end and as a middle linebacker. Also, Travis Handelman's a senior that we got on that squad, catches some balls for us, really stretches the defense and plays outside linebacker for us. And we got just a wealth of underclassmen that are really helping us out this year, too. But, you nailed it on the head. The seniors, your team, molds itself around the seniors. You can have a great junior class, but the senior leadership is truly the drum beat of the entire team.
Well, last year you prevailed 49-30 over Lenox. That same outcome would certainly make you happy next Friday morning, and we'll be watching you closely, Coach. We appreciate you taking time to join us on Friday Night Live, and you've done just a superb job of building the legacy up there on Highway 9.
Well, hey, thanks a lot for having me. It's always great to, talk with you guys. And, and you did mention Jake Peterson. I tell you what, he was a great kid, and I bet he had a lot of stories to tell you, too.
Oh, he had a lot of stories to tell me. And I tell you what, Coach Ryan there at Morningside, I'd like to have him in the backfield right now as we advance to the playoffs. My son plays for Morningside, so that's how I got to know Jake.
Good kid.
Great kid. He loves you. All right, Coach, have a great one.
All right, we'll talk to you later.